What's good on my fellow troops, my name is Xavvo and welcome back to a brand new video. I've probably recorded this 7 times. Okay, today we're going to talk about COD World War 2 and Vanguard. Two games that are different yet so similar. And I got inspired to make this video because I was watching some of Xavvo's, or Jev's as we usually refer to him as. I was watching some of his 2017 Call of Duty videos, which if you didn't know, if you haven't played COD around here much, like me, but a lot less, COD World War 2 was the 2017 release of Call of Duty. And I recall him mentioning a bunch of weapons, and they really did remind me that they existed in World War II prior to Vanguard. Now, I do know Vanguard is supposed to be set somewhere in World War II, in 1945 or something like that. Honestly, I think a lot of the similarities in Vanguard must have something to do with just historical incompetence. That's literally all I can boil it down to. When I look at the two games, I see that the modern warfare related stuff have been heavily balanced into this Vanguard game. You've got the mention of assault rifles and marksman rifles when COD World War 2 didn't do that at all. They just had rifles. So I'm not sure whether to believe rifles were the only things that existed in World War 2, if assault rifles were even developed at that time or not. Or maybe it's COD World War 2 that did it wrong. But honestly, I felt personally, when I was playing COD World War 2, I felt more immersed in a World War 2 feeling. This game feels nothing like World War 2, so I'm more going to sway towards Vanguard being historically inaccurate. And there's a lot of things that can say that I'm not wrong on that. If we look at Vanguard generally, it looks like it was made by some incompetent moron who just doesn't understand World War II. Hell, even I don't understand it much. But at least I wouldn't be able to make a petty mistake like this. Thomas, his bio, born in 1920, but he fought in World War I. What did he get in his fucking TARDIS and time travel? I mean, what the fuck? You obviously can look at a lot of other things, like attachments. Of course, they're not going to be completely historically accurate. We have to have some things that we can have a benefit of a doubt towards and just put them aside, ignore them, because honestly, a game would be boring like this in this type of theme if it were to have completely accurate attachments. None of us want to run around with tin cans as suppressors, let's be honest. Obviously, not everything's accurate in towards of weapons, but it's clear that we can already see there's a lot of inaccuracy. Like the fact that they don't seem to have factions in this game. They have no mention of Nazis, as far as I'm aware. They don't really touch upon them too much, even though they were literally like 80% of the reason World War II was a thing was because of Nazis. Like, it just makes no sense to even cut them out of the fucking story. I don't know if it's just like political correctness or something to do with like people being offended. Just don't buy a World War II game. It's pretty fucking obvious. But you look at the operators, there's a problem with Vanguard operators being completely politically correct. Now, I have no issue with there being female operators in a Call of Duty game. It's because of the time period. If we're going off of World War II, why is there an even balance of male and females? More so, why are they wearing some ridiculous costumes that aren't even World War II? And why are there lesbians? I don't think, as far as I'm aware, that lesbians even would come out during this time, because they'd probably be fucking executed. So, I don't know what to make of it, really. Vanguard is just not a very accurate World War II game. I think it was obviously just made by a bunch of idiots who don't know what they're doing, and this is probably why I'm going to tie in with a lot of the copying and pasting type shit, because if you see that there's so many common things, you're going to assume that maybe they didn't know how to do it differently. They maybe had new members, new people working, I guess, in the developers for Sledgehammer, and perhaps they just thought the best thing they could do was copy and paste what they got right in World War II, because Vanguard couldn't seem to think of anything different. So, we're going to look at the weapons now, the main thing of this game, and this is the equivalent of Black Ops Cold War's rehash content. We've got rifles in World War II. And I'm just going to read them out to you. The STG-44, the M1 Garand, the BAR, the SVT-40, the Gevera 43, the Volkssturmer Gevera, I don't know how you pronounce that, sorry if I'm butchering any of these, the Itra Burst, the Automaton, the AS-44, and the NZ-41. Now, these are not all the weapons, these are the ones I picked out that are going to be in Vanguard, so I'm only reading the ones that are in both games, so there is a lot of other weapons, obviously, than this. But did any of those ring a bell? Well, you wouldn't be surprised, would you? Because the STG-44, the BAR, the Volkssturmer Gewehr, the Itra Burst, the Automaton, the S44, and the NZ41 are all assault rifles in Vanguard. And yes, all 3 of the marksman rifles in Vanguard are from World War II, that being the M1 Garand, the SVT-40, and the Gavera 43. Now, you're probably thinking, if you don't know much about guns, where's the Gavera 43? Oh yeah, it's shortened to the G43. Ah, of course. It must be a different gun. We just didn't know. Like, did they do this on purpose? Do they generally think if we shortened the name, like, that no one would notice the blatant copy and pasting? Despite the fact that they've gotten so much shit about it being copy and pasting, implying that everybody seems to have figured this out. It's almost like they just thought no one would notice if they switched up the name slightly for some of them. I don't know why. Maybe they thought it would be easier for people to pronounce them. In that case, fair enough, but you can't really say that when you've got a gun in your game called the Volksturmer Gavera, or whatever it's called. You can't try and use that as an excuse, because there's still guns in this game that they brought back from COD World War II, and yet nobody can fucking pronounce them unless they're German. But if we look at SMGs, there is 7 SMGs as of now in Vanguard, and let me tell you, 5 of them are actually from COD World War II. We've got the PPSH-41, the Type 100, the M1928, the MP40, and the Sten. Yes, they're not new, guys. They're definitely return content. A lot of people will know this by now, but for anyone who doesn't, then yeah, that's a fun little fact that you've learned today. You've got LMGs. Well, the Bren and the MG42 are both from COD World War II. They're also in Vanguard. We've got the snipers, which is the Kar98K, and now let's not lie, that's a fan favorite. They've probably brought it about many times. It was in Modern Warfare 2019, so we'll make exception to that. We'll make exception to a few weapons in this list. But the other one I noticed was the PTRS-41 and the Freeline rifle. So you're probably thinking, yeah, the PTRS, there is no PTRS in Vanguard. What do you mean? The PTRS, my friend, is other known as the Grenko anti-tank rifle. I don't get why they had to pick such a retarded code name. But yes, it's the same gun. They just gave a fancy little name, and they probably assumed that you would not pick up on it, but it's the same gun. And yes, I've done my research. Many of you probably wouldn't have known the Freeline was in World War II, you probably forgot, but if you didn't, well, yeah, but the Freeline is also from COD World War II. Then you've got shotguns. We've got the combat shotgun, a gun that's in both Vanguard and World War II. I will say this is probably the only area where World War II and Vanguard stand out, because they actually have different weapons for the most part. For most of these, they're pretty much the fucking same. So, congrats. Well done. Well done, Vanguard. You did one thing differently. Then we've got pistols. We've got the P08, the 1911, and the machine pistol. Well, the P08 in Vanguard is just the Klauser. The 1911, that's a common one, so we'll make exception to that. That's in a lot of Call of Duty games. And then we've got the machine pistol. Yep, that's in Vanguard, and it came from World War II. When I'm saying World War II, a lot of this video I'm referring to COD World War II. Sorry for any confusion. And another thing I noticed, which made me think this had to be some copying pasting shit, was when I noticed that the order of the launchers. So in COD World War II, there's only 2 launchers, that being M1 Bazooka and then Panzerschreck. That's the order they go in. Now, if you look at Vanguard, it goes M1 Bazooka, Panzerschreck, Panzerfaust, then Mark 11 launcher. Notice how the top 2 are just the top 2 that were from World War II. It really just goes to show, and you can look at all the weapons that I've shown on screen, they probably look oddly similar. They look the same texture, same color, same iron sights, same everything. They look pretty much like they were just copy and pasted and re-rendered in a different engine. And it's probably because they did. Again, I have no evidence towards them actually doing this, but it's very suspicious, especially aside all the historical inaccuracy in Vanguard. It would lead anyone to believe they didn't know what to do, so they just copied and pasted so they'd look like they know what they're doing, but they don't. I don't know who the fuck engineered or put together COD World War II in the devs who are no longer working with them, but I hope they take them back in. It's not remotely World War II like, and there's a lot of things they need to fix up if they're going to keep this as a game that people can come back to, because it's just not very accurate, and they definitely need to touch up on these if they can get these people back, but I doubt they will. And even then, I don't think it makes a difference either way, because the guns are still the exact same, and they've literally been dragged from one game to the other, so it doesn't make a difference what they do at this point. But it's just very weird that they fucking copied them clearly. Just, I don't know what to say about that. But then we've got melees. So in COD WW2, we had these two that really stood out. We had the Ice Pick and the Riot Shield. Now, obviously, we've already touched up on the fact that the Riot Shield in Vanguard, which is basically the combat shield, yeah, they're pretty much the same thing. But I'm going to get into that a little bit after this. They are formatted in the way Modern Warfare did it, where they had the shield as a primary melee, and then they had other melees as secondary, so they were separate. Vanguard did that, however, the combat shield is literally the Riot Shield from World War II. No fucking joke. Look at them. They are exactly the same. They both look like some sort of OG Android blocky fucking phone case, and they're both the same green tinge and the same rounded plate looking shape. And yeah, there is an Ice Pick in World War II. Yeah, well, believe it or not, there is a melee set to come out later in Season 2. So Season 2 Reloaded update that's coming soon in Vanguard, and it's the Ice Axe, and it's pretty much the same thing. So, are we getting new content? I don't think so. We're just getting the same shit. And if that wasn't enough, let me talk about grenades. Yeah, don't we love our grenades? The throwing knife is the exact same design in the two games. Look at COD WW2's. Okay, now take a look at Vanguard's. It's the same thing. You could literally say that was dragged from one to the other. It was CTRL-C and CTRL-V'd, if you want to be more technical. Then you've got the S-Mine 44. They just literally brought that back. I don't know why they brought it back. It's the exact same mine from COD World War II in Vanguard. It's just pretty much the old-fashioned Claymore of Modern Warfare 2019. We've got the sticky grenade in World War II. Well, there's the sticky bomb in Vanguard. It came out in Season 2. Literally looks exactly the same. The design is not different whatsoever, so that leads anyone to believe they've copied it. You've got the number 69 stun grenade from Vanguard, which is just the British N69 in COD World War II. Exact same naming for the stuns and whatnot, pretty much. They just slightly switched it up. And then you've got the Mark 5, I guess, or Mark V. I'm guessing it's 5 because it's Roman numerals. We've got the Mark 5 gas, which is just the Mark 5 gas grenade from COD World War II. And I'm not going to go way too much into score streaks because I don't really have the time to look through all of them. They're going to get way too technical if I look for them. But one of them that stood out, which I pointed out, I think, well at the start of Vanguard, was the sound effect. If you've heard the sound effect for the glide bomb in Vanguard, it literally is stripped straight from COD World War II. Exact same sound effect, same explosion sound. Try tell me it's not the same. And I'm going to play it right now. So, not only have we established 90% of the weapons in the mix of Vanguard are just returned weapons or copied weapons, or some of them have a fancy name on them or a few abbreviations to them, and, you know, we've got the exact same lethals and tacticals. What else could possibly be the same? You'd think at this point, well, isn't everything the same? Well, I will say the operators are different. Somewhat. You can look at their neck scarves designs and they look kind of similar, but I'm not going to say that they are because I don't really have too much backing behind that. I haven't looked at too many of them, and a lot of them in COD World War II are just simply helmeted people or gas masked people. In this game, they seem to be gas masked, some of them, like the mastery ones, but most of them are just random ass costumes that don't fit the time era whatsoever. But one of the things that really kind of stunned me was Vanguard's diamond camo. If it doesn't ring any bells, take a look at World War II's diamond. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same diamond. Same texture, same studded look, and it's honestly, at this point, I don't know what else to say. Same sound effects, same gun names and same gun types of all kinds. It's literally the same guns, pretty much, and yet there's still more guns coming out right now that people think are new and they're not new. We've got the same fucking lethals and tacticals. The historical accuracy of Vanguard seems to be lacking for the most part. The game was pretty much rushed. Wouldn't it make anyone think that this game was just copied and pasted? I mean, doesn't it get you thinking the same? It doesn't put aside that the camo grind isn't fun. Like, the camo grind is really fun. I can't lie. But there is no setting aside that these games are way too similar, if not exactly the same. So at this point, should we call it Vanguard, or should we just call it COD World War II 2.0? I don't know. And I'm also pretty sure that they brought the V2 rocket type nuke from COD World War II as well, which is also in Vanguard. I don't get why they did this, and I'm not surprised why people didn't look forward to this game. It is almost like we got a bunch of salty devs who were pissed off that their game was not well received and it was looked down on as one of the worst or one of the most segregated games in the Call of Duty franchise because of how many people like it compared to how many people hate it. It's just one of those games that go up there like Black Ops 4, Infinite Warfare, I'm pretty sure, and then like COD Ghosts and Black Ops Cold War. It's just one of those games that is widely renowned as being a quite hated game, so I wouldn't be surprised if they thought, we'll throw it up there under a new engine and try and get it to sell more money, because it is just honestly scarily accurate, and I don't like that it is, but I'm assuming most of us don't give a shit. But I just thought I'd go through that, just talk about the similarities, what I think about the two games, which one I thought was more accurate historically, I guess, which one really embodied the feeling of World War II. And yeah, I just don't get it really with Vanguard. I just don't get it. There's so many things they just didn't do right, and my historical nerds, you're probably right now thinking, you know, thank you for bringing light to this, I suppose, or you're probably thinking, yeah, there's more to be said, I know. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to smash a like on this video. It really goes a long way, lets me know you enjoyed. And yeah, honestly, it does go a long way if you do leave a like. It really does mean a lot. And also comment down below the keyword, I guess, of today's video, which is going to be chopper. Comment chopper in the comment section if you've watched this far. It lets me know that you've watched the full video, and yeah, it lets me know who the true ones are around on this channel. And other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye, guys.